It is every police leader's responsibility to not only continually develop their own skills and abilities, but to prepare the next generation of leaders. Retired Captain William Frost helps you meet this task by providing a clear blueprint to follow in his book, Leadership in Law Enforcement. To learn more about his book and other consulting and training he provides, go to www.code33consulting.com. That's code33consulting.com. Hey, Grit Nation, I got a couple things I'm really excited to share with you. The first is that the newsletter, free newsletter, is now live. All you got to do is go to bluegritwellness.com to subscribe. It is basically a summary of everything good and gritty for the week, including some exclusive content specifically on the newsletter. That'll include wellness information, nutrition, things that you ask, Q&A, as well as updates about Blue Grit, offerings, news, things that'll help you out. Next order of business. For years, I've been asked what kind of nutritional supplements I use because I've been into learning about health, nutrition, fitness for so long. And for years, I landed on NutriCost. And it's only a recent thing that I've been an affiliate, but now I get to pass the savings on to you. So if you go to NutriCost.com, use code BLUEGRIT, that's just BLUEGRIT, you get 10% off. Literally just a couple items, you get free shipping. And the reason why I found it was because it was always the best quality for the best value. So I always recommend people look at the ingredient list, look out for things like sucralose. It has the lowest amount of unnatural ingredients if you're looking for that kind of thing, whether it's your whey protein isolate, which I toggle on and off of, or organic vegan protein to cut down on different chemicals that I just generally like to avoid. It's not just protein, it's creatine and minerals, vitamins, things like L-theanine and magnesium, which I use regularly to help my nervous system power down. It aids rest and recovery, promoting better sleep. So whatever it is, go to NutriCost.com and you can just enter the code BLUEGRIT to get your 10% off. Welcome to Blue Grit Radio, the podcast that explores making better cops for a better community. I'm your host, Eric Tum. I've been an active police officer since 2007. We will dive into the aspects of police culture, health and wellness, leadership, and mindset. You'll hear from experts not only from policing, but all industries as they relate to being our best with purpose, passion, and positivity. Join me as we share stories, lessons, and advice so we can all be better for ourselves, our teams, our families, and our communities. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, today I have a little nugget I heard that I just want to share with you all. And I know that we're constantly talking about how we can improve our mindset, how we can improve our wellness, how we can just self-improve, right? It's all about getting better for ourselves so we can do our work better, we can do our lives, take care of our family better, just be a more positive, constructive, contributing member to our teams, and more, right? Ultimately, it does all start with mindset, and that is a big piece I talk about in a lot of the guides I'm putting out. You know, the entry-level police guide has just rolled out, so it's pretty fantastic to see people picking up the guide, giving feedback already, you know, how eye-opening and how beneficial it's been and how they wish they had it their first go-around testing. But I'll go back to the main point. So much of everything we do starts with mindset. And I was listening to this podcast, and forgive me, I don't know where it was because I do just jump around on a lot of different content at times, especially when I'm out and about. But it was sharing this experience. So the speaker shared that he got a cancer diagnosis and how devastating that was. And in his reflection, he grappled with his really healthy lifestyle. He grappled with the fact that he didn't smoke. He didn't drink much. He was pretty active, like a very regular exerciser, ate well, pretty mindful on all these things. And at one point, he kept going back and looking at examining like what he did to get him to this place. Like what happened? You know, it wasn't drinking, it wasn't smoking. What did I do to get me here? And he was talking to somebody and he shares this story that person he was talking to challenged him back and said, maybe it's not about what you did, but maybe it's about what you are meant to do. And I love that. I love that so much. I stopped in my tracks. It was freezing. I was out with the dogs, but I stopped just to give myself this really shoddy voice to text note, as I do at times when I don't want to lose track of a really awesome thought. And that's what I did. I made the note because I wanted to share it with all of you. And so much we can reflect on how adversity molds us, shapes us. And it's only natural in the moment to, whether it's something as devastating and life altering as that, where you want to just look up at the sky and shake your fist and say, like, why me? Like, what did I do wrong? Whether it's that or something much more routine where, you were doing all the right things and something blew up at work, or you're saying all the right things and doing the right kind of intentions, and a family member misinterpreted all of it, and you have to suffer these pretty negative consequences, right? Whether it's miscommunication or misinterpretation. Like, it's very natural, very human to go to why me? Why us? Why police in this state of society? Like, why are we so villainized and scrutinized? Like most things, a challenge can be with proper processing and reflection and perspective. It can be recognized to be an opportunity, right? So problems, issues, challenges, adversities can always be an opportunity. They can always be working towards a solution. They can always be a journey, a process, a means to get better, a means to generate this development. And that is the goal, right? Hopefully, the life goal is not to get to a place of having things easy. I mean, if that's your goal, like, more power to you. I do venture to guess that you listening, you being a part of these conversations, that's not enough. Just a content, easy go in life. No, I venture to guess that you are much more in the vein of wanting to continue to challenge yourself, continue to learn things, get to expert level at one thing just to recognize immediately the next day that you're actually still very much the student and the novice. I think that's the thing in life, right? And shout out to the fellows at the Collective. This episode I was on back some time ago, months and months ago, we were talking about Sisyphus, and it's the mythology of the Greeks, the ancient Greeks, where this guy was, I believe he was condemned, but to push a boulder up a mountainside, only to start the next day after getting to the top. The next day he'd wake up and be back at the bottom. And it's a condemnation, right? This is a punishment for upsetting the gods, whatever it was. He was doomed to keep pushing this boulder and never really reach the top, never be able to rest. And the flip there that we explored, because we're a bunch of philosophical kind of deep dive mental nerds, is that we're like, well, maybe that is the reward for some of us, hopefully one day many of us, but we drive toward the challenge. Like, the challenge is the thing, not the achievement of the thing. And you could even look at categorical achievements, how oftentimes Olympic athletes are cited as being extremely depressed after they gold medal, because now what, right? Like, we don't want to have a now what. We want to have a and now this and now that, and we're going to continue to strive and grow and challenge and work and grind, because that is the point. So to bring it back to that initial prompt, in talking about adversity and resilience, I think there's so much power in just how we reflect on these little things. So rather than why me or what did I do to get here, that's not as important as just recognizing that you are here, and then asking yourself, okay, what am I meant to do now? Right? So many of us, when we come out of that dark space, and it's hard when you're in that dark space, but you come out of it, you recognize how much you had to learn, or you're presented with a problem or a problematic person, a problematic personality in your life or in your circle. What do you have to learn from that person? What do you have to learn from that experience? And how can you put that out forward for others in a positive light, in a positive form? Take that lesson and make yourself better, make yourself more adaptable, make yourself more resilient, and make yourself more gritty, right? Coming full circle, that's the goal. That's the thing. And so whereas some people, they imagine just getting to some point where they can just rest on their laurels or just be content in their, metaphorical hammock in life, I don't think that's going to be me. And I'm pretty certain it's not going to be me because it doesn't sound enticing or desirable at all. And I do venture to guess that most of you, it doesn't sound that palpable either. It's not to say we don't enjoy the fruits of our labor, but it is to say that there is enjoying and then continuing on the path of the next thing. I got so much out of that, just that little note or that little twist, and it's a variation of things we've heard before. I do hope it serves you well. I hope it brings a little bit of positivity to your life, your day, your circles, who you interact with, whether it's your family, your coworkers, a stranger on the street, in your job or outside of your job. I hope it helps. And as always, let me know if it does. Let me know if it doesn't. Let me know the feedback. It's always really instrumental when I get that feedback from all of you because it helps me craft the show in such a way. And again, I say it in the show notes, but leave a review. That is one of the best ways to help grow the show so people can find it easier. People will see it. That is also super rewarding when new listeners find it, not through the social media per se, because sometimes social media people aren't podcast people and vice versa, but they find it through Apple or Spotify looking for police content or career advice, things like that. So again, I appreciate all the support, all the shares. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the Blue Grit hiring and testing guide for police applicants is out. So check out bluegritwellness.com. I've already gotten a lot of positive feedback, which is amazing and fantastic and humbling. Also gotten really positive feedback from a couple administrators who have reviewed it. Their notes are in there or on the social or on the site as far as how helpful it's going to be to a lot of applicants. And I also want to say thank you for it already happening and when it continues to happen. But a lot of active law enforcement saying, yeah, like I'm happy to share this thing out because ultimately we do come across a lot of people in our lives or just career paths that want to learn more about being a cop, how to get that done, how to show up your best way. So I sincerely appreciate all the shares. I feel very, very validated knowing that we're all part of this thing, which is trying to build more good cops coming in, setting them up for success. So it's not just the testing itself, it is prepping mindset, getting their head right. Something as simple as breaking down all the different types of physical tests that are common through the nation, how to prep for them, but then also something as simple as saying, cool, prep for the test, but you really owe it to yourself to demolish the test, and you really owe it to yourself and everybody else counting on you, your family, the public, victims, etc., to demolish the test and then make the pursuit of fitness excellence part of your lifestyle. And that might sound really daunting to some people, but it starts somewhere. Be the cop that you want to show up to your family. Be the cop that you want to show up to that bad day, wherever it may be, wherever you may work. Like, model that. And hopefully you don't have any of those bad days, but if you do, then so be it. And you're going to be ready, prepared, trained mentally, legally, physically, tactically, with tools and weapons, all of the above, because you brought that mindset. I can talk and talk and talk on mindset, and I talk a lot about that. In that, I also talk a lot about mindset in Get Gritty, the course that's almost live, so stay tuned for that. Shoot me a line if you want to be notified when that is live and available as well. So I won't take any more of your precious, precious time. Thank you so much for spending any of it and all of it that you continue to spend with me through Blue Grit. Stay safe, stay well, and stay gritty. All right, I'm really excited to share with you the new Blue Grit Police Testing and Hiring Guide that's live on the website. Really, this is the culmination of everything I've learned about police testing from the time I came in myself and had to figure out trial by fire what it was that agencies wanted. At the same time, how to showcase my best version of myself, right? It's not about being something that you're not, but it's about understanding each stage in the game so you can present the best way. In my guide, I go in everything about the hiring landscape right now, how to develop your mindset, what to expect, and how to show up. So it's about knowing yourself well, like identifying strengths, weaknesses, how to conceptualize this, how to articulate this, and then going into the test itself. So written, physical components, interviews, everything that we're looking for there, the background, what that entails, polygraph, psych eval, medical, what these things all are, what they're trying to yield or determine, and then how you can make sure that you are showing up to be effective so you're not wasting your time, stress, money, all the angst of waiting for this extremely long-term process to go through. So just show up the right way, your best way the first time. Again, you can find that at bluegritwellness.com. Go to the shop, so it's bluegritwellness.com/shop. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Blue Grit Radio. As always, support this community by subscribing, giving us a 5-star review, and following, liking, and sharing posts on Blue Grit Wellness on Instagram. You can reach me there or email me at bluegritwellness@gmail.com. Be well and stay gritty.